Hey y'all, and welcome to Couch Conversations episode 8. We honestly have to talk about this because I've been severely convicted about something for the past several weeks, and I just knew that I wanted to share this with y'all and talk about it. And I was talking to my best friend, and this is honestly probably one of the greatest lessons I've learned, not just within this first quarter of 2023, but in my lifetime period. Friday, March 10th, a couple weeks ago, I posted on my Snapchat private story, something, and I'm not going to explain what I said or what I meant by what I said because it was on my private story for the people who knew what I meant by that because they know what season of life I am currently in. And I am just only sharing that part for the context. My best friend was concerned and replies to my story asking me like, whoa, what just happened? Like, are you good? Are you okay? Because we had just had a great day at school, and this was the day that we got out for spring break. And we had had Starbucks in the car that same morning. And so I can understand the shock of the switch up in my emotion and the concern. I explained the situation. In my heart, I know I want to talk about it because, for them being my friends, it's not even private. And I'm not necessarily afraid to share it. But in my mind, it's just like I have this mental barrier of being real when it comes to my personal struggles that just tells me not to say anything. I told my best friend, I keep telling myself I'm going to be transparent and I'm going to tell y'all what's going on, but I just feel like I'm going to ruin the vibe. So, I just keep my mouth shut. And like I said earlier, it's not that it's private for them or private for me that I can't share it. A lot of times I just don't know how to say it or if I should say it at all. My best friend was like, you don't ever have to worry about that with us. We are always here for you forever. And so coming into that following week, so this is the day we got out for spring break. So coming into the following week, spring break week, I told my other friends, the same thing. And they all replied with the same sentiment of words like, we're here for you. And you never have to feel like you can't tell us things because you feel like you're going to rain on our parade. For me in these conversations, I realized that I have to learn not to suffocate myself in my own thoughts when God has literally given me and brought me people into my life for support. And it has also, in a way, brought to the surface of the insecurity behind this problem. Because if I say that I trust in someone and I know that I can trust them and they tell me that I can trust them and they have a track record of being trustworthy and having trustworthiness, then I need to be able to trust that without filtering information in my mind of what I should or shouldn't say. And I feel like this comes from childhood because growing up, there weren't a lot of safe spaces and places to put my thoughts and emotions. So as a result, I just kept my mouth shut. And people knew that, something was wrong, but they didn't necessarily know the reason behind it. And growing up in church made that even harder because when you meet the church world, whew, welcome to my life. Listen, when you're a PK and you're also in ministry and you put that together, you face judgment, manipulation, condemnation, everything else in church when you expect it to be the place where you enjoy being there, to experience God in a new way every single time. And I, as a PK, would like to say sorry to every PK who has experienced that feeling of just striving to do God's work in his house and then you get micromanaged. I hate that. It's like when you become a PK and you're in ministry, it be the people you thought you could talk to who turn around and become the same people who place all these expectations on you. And it's like, this is why I don't trust you. I couldn't trust people. So I just learned to not say anything. And so now that I'm at the place where I have more genuine and authentic relationships where I can actually trust people for real, I have to get past that barrier of letting my mind slip into this I can't tell people anything state of mind. My childhood ended rather quickly for me because I had to grow up quickly. Like, I became a PK when I was 10, and people shot a lot of bullets of hate towards me and set up all these expectations, like I said earlier. And being a PK in ministry is a wild ride. And then in 2019, I had surgery 2 days after my grandmother passed away, and in a pandemic in 2020. So back to back, all these situations, I really just had to figure out a lot for myself. So now that I have found what real love, what real trust and communication looks like, I know the difference between how I've been treated and how I deserve to be treated. And I understand that the people that God placed in my life are trustworthy. And for me, it's been one way of thinking for so long that I have to change my thought process on how I speak my mind. In other ways as well, it's been this expectation to be that positive, perfect person and have all the answers because of the character traits I possess. And I know I'm different. You know, I move differently than most people. So a lot of people gravitate to me because of how I do things or how I carry myself, how I treat others and whatnot. So I feel like if I don't have anything positive to say or give, then I just have a tendency to just stay to myself, keep my mouth shut, because if I don't have anything to give, then okay, I'm not useful. You don't need me. And that also comes with knowing what it feels like when other people's brokenness breaks you. And therefore, I don't want to break other people with my brokenness. And so it's all just a cycle. And I hate how it causes me to be in this guilt trip. During the first week of March weekend recap, if you go back and listen to the snippets I posted on Thursday of that vlog, then you will definitely know what I'm talking about when I say this. But I was watching Bible study with Pastor Smith because at this point it is safe to say that House of Hope Atlanta is indeed my second family. They are my church outside of my church. Pastor Smith was talking about relationships in general, but this part he said right here blessed me. He said, "Your people can't protect you or support you fully if you're not vulnerable. Life was never meant to be a solo project." And I was like, oh my goodness. And so that really got me thinking about this. And so between my best friends and Pastor Smith, I feel like I have grasped that concept that I actually do have people that care about me like they say they do. It wasn't that I didn't ever believe my friends when they've told me that they're there for me, because I've always known that. But I had to get past myself and my thoughts to fully understand that. I think that if this season of my personal life was not occurring, I would still be in the position of keeping my thoughts to myself. What comes to my mind is the song Out of My Mind by Kiera Sheard Kelly. The part of the song where it says, "Nobody knows, nobody feels what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling. It gets hard sometimes when I wanted to express my mind." And then there's another part of the song where it says, "I tell myself, please come out, but sometimes I just don't know how." Woo! I'm in my feelings. I am not going to do that on here. Honestly speaking, I'm in and out of my mind. I'm in my mind trying to get out of my mind, if that makes sense. I have these thoughts in my mind and these mental barriers that I'm trying to work through. But then I also want to get out of my mind because it's like I want to escape these thoughts. I am like so grateful for this deconstruction process of learning to let the people that love me love me. I've always been there for other people. And so now is the time where God is bringing me the reciprocation in the form of my friends and siblings. God has always like had this way of bringing me back to where I need to be, even when I feel so far away from that. I learned this lesson during spring break, actually. And I told myself that spring break was going to be a mental detox. And I did not know that this would be like an actual mental detox for me where I learned something this big like this, but I'm very grateful for it. To anyone in a season of life where you're afraid to speak your mind because you think you're gonna ruin the vibe, you're not. Like, if you trust people but you're afraid to speak your mind, then you're just honestly suffocating yourself in your own thoughts. And personally speaking, I know that I can't afford to do that because y'all already know I have hit rock bottom back to back. And if you're in this circle of people who are the definition of what real love, support, honesty, communication, and respect looks like, if you have a safe place to go to, then trust in that and don't suffocate yourself. That's how you go from thriving to surviving. And I think it's safe to say that we all want to thrive. Well, this episode of Couch Conversations was most definitely transparent. Get out of your mind. Your people can't fully support you or protect you if you're not going to be honest or vulnerable. I hope y'all enjoyed today's Couch Conversations episode. I love y'all so much, and I'll see y'all later.